What is up, everybody? It is Wizup here. We are back playing more random roguelike games. This time we're playing some Oblitus. Oblitus' new roguelike came out, I believe it's been a week now. Maybe a week. Can't have been that long. I did spend a good 2-3 days playing the shit out of this game, though. Find me in the hanging furnace. Okay, well, that's going to be the third area that we go to. If you haven't seen this game or don't know anything about this game is a precision-based roguelike with procedurally generated elements. And I use that term loosely with this game because the procedurally generated levels aren't really that procedurally. They're not really that different. There's minute differences in the levels. They're all, but however, this level is almost exactly the same every time. You know, there'll be 2 or 3 small different things here. Like right here, either the fire spear will appear here, or it'll appear in the cave above, typically, or beneath the waterfall. There's like one of 3 places where items will show up, and that's what they consider to be the procedural generation. And it just seems, I don't know, when this game's supposed to be played like a ton of times in a row, like most roguelikes are, it just ends up being kind of that rote thing, you know, like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if it's not here. I know if it's not there, it's going to be right over here. It's not going to be like, oh man, I might not get it. With your spear upgrades in particular, you get those every single run. They're on every single run. You can't go. There won't be a run in which you never get fire spear unless you just decide not to get it. You just skip over the fact that you're like, I don't need fire spear, fuck it, and you move on. So what am I doing in this game right now? Right now I've beaten the game a few times. I believe 4 or 5 times now, and after you beat it a few times, you realize that you kind of need to start collecting these artifact pieces to fight the final boss, because I have yet to unlock the final boss in the game. I believe altogether there will be 5 bosses. The bosses don't randomly change or anything like that, and they all use the same exact tactics every time. So you'll see me when I fight this first boss up here. I typically fight him with throwing my spear 3 to 4 times depending on what upgrade I get. But typically I take 0 damage in this first fight. I've just figured out how to do it. And it's kind of cheap and kind of rote. Another thing you don't need to do in this game is you don't need to fight any of the enemies. The only reason you would ever fight the enemies is, one, if you want to actually play the game. You actually want to do something besides doing a little pole vaulting. So here's the first boss. So what you do is you aim right here, throw your spear. Oh, he blocked it with his arm. But you just throw his spear at this thing on his back. Because I got impact rolling as my upgrade. That means it'll take 4 spears. Just take a step back whenever he swings there. And you can just hold this position. Get him there. We'll get our upgrade. Hopefully we get bigger. That's my favorite one. Homing spears isn't bad either. There are some that are just completely useless, even in the boss ones. The boss pool of abilities is different than the pool of abilities that of standard abilities that you find throughout the world. And the boss ones typically tend to be better. However, there is one in particular that really isn't any good at all. It's okay, but it doesn't really help you that much, and that's the flying ability. You get the ability to glide. You grow wings and can glide across the level rather than pole vaulting across the level. So what does the procedural generation in this game mean? Well, it means that right here, instead of this wall being here, instead next time it'll just be open, and there will be one more vulture standing here. That's the difference. Did you see my homing spear? It's trying to home in on something, and it was doing a downward curve, and so I missed my shot there. Or like right here, there'll be the artifact piece sometimes. You know, like that's the type of procedural generation it is. And if that's what you're looking for, then great. You know. However, that doesn't. You don't try and sell me on something. Sell me on procedurally generated levels and have it be complete and utter bullshit. Really, like it's not procedural generation. It's not. Technically, it is. Okay, technically it is. But when you're selling, when that's a selling point in your game, we all know what we're looking for, you know, and we've come to expect a certain standard. Now, that's not to say that the game is not fun. The game is tons of fun. I love this game. This game's great, you know, like I played through it plenty of times at this point. Like I've played through it probably too many times. Fire armor is one of my favorite weapons in the game, and you only unlock it after the first time that you play through. So, and it seriously helps with the final boss right now, but not the final boss in the game. I have yet to fight the final boss in the game. So, like things like this right here, I know that this fall always leads to this waterfall, and there's always going to be a hole down here that we're just going to fall into because we're looking for another upgrade called the Impact Spear. Impact Spear you also get every level. So the first time I played through this, I got stuck in this caves area for 45 minutes, just going back and forth because I didn't find a specific little hole that you're supposed to jump in, or that you're supposed to jump into to get the Impact Spear, and you have to have the Impact Spear to be able to get out of this area at one point. Actually, I'm kind of glad that I didn't have the Impact Spear, or that I wasn't able to find the Impact Spear and that I wasn't able to leave, because I would have at that point been like, oh man, well I must have done everything in this area. I guess I'll just move on, you know, and I would have gone. And I would have ran around the entire game not knowing where I was supposed to go when really I was just supposed to be in the caves. So we need to find the Impact Spear to get into this next area. And since we didn't find it in either of the last two places that we just passed there, it'll spawn in one of three places again. It'll spawn in the top of this room here. Okay, yeah, homing spears home towards the enemy, not away from the enemy. Come on now. I didn't find this little room here. Yeah, it was hidden up there, huh? See, now I got the Impact Spear. Because the Impact Spear was here, there shouldn't be an upgrade here, but I always like to check just in case for some reason this game decided to throw me a curveball. Oh, yeah, and I can't go back out that way right now. So we have to go back down. And that's the loop I would do. I would, hey Bear, what's up, dude? What are you doing, dog? You just decided to hang out and come fucking die? Cool, man. Well played. Oh, like I was saying before, however, before I was so rudely interrupted by the first boss fight, is that you don't need to fight any of the enemies in this game. You can just skip past all of them and just get to the boss fights and pick up the upgrades that you find as time goes by. The only reason I like to fight the enemies is, one, you do take a small chance of taking damage when you're pole vaulting past them. And two, it just makes the game more fun to play it rather than skipping it. But you don't get experience. There's no type of leveling system like that. There's no, you know, there's nothing like like that you need. So when I go on my like gaming binges here, when I'll fight oh shit, we are fucking stuck. Oh, this is not a good place to be. Okay. So when I'll go on my little gaming binge here, and I'll play 3 games of Oblitus in a row, and I'll die in bullshit ways in the first 2 or whatever, I'll just get pissed off, and I'll just run through the game. I'll just be like, I don't give a fuck, I'm just getting to the bosses, I'm wasting my time, you know, because a lot of this time can start to feel like a waste of time. Like, Oblitus doesn't take its players' time Like it's taking its players' time for granted, you know. Simply because there is no progression because of that stuff. And because the boss fights are so easy. When I bought this game, I was expecting Dark Souls-esque boss fights where I would fight them and it would take me 10 times of fighting these bosses to figure out what the fuck I had to do. I wasn't expecting to be able to beat these bosses the first time I played them, and so when I was able to beat them the first time I played them, it was kind of a huge letdown. So that was the second boss fight there. Exciting, right? And you have to collect that skull to be able to go into the final area. We still need to find the guy in the Hanging Gardens. I always say Hanging Gardens. I don't know what game that's from either. It is from some game. The Hanging Gardens. Find me in the Hanging Gardens or something like that. It's from some game. Some Final Fantasy game maybe or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, one of the games I played in my youth, Hanging Gardens, was a big deal. Maybe not a big deal, but maybe something that just stuck in my mind. But like I was saying, you can just pole vault your way. And pole vaulting does seem to be the quickest way through the game. You do that by rolling first and then jumping second, and it'll just pole vault yourself off your spear. It's a fun little mechanic. I do enjoy the combat in this game. The combat is super tight. The controls are really, really tight. I never feel like my character did something that he wasn't supposed to do. At first I did, before I was used to the controls. And sometimes I still make the mistake of like trying to parry when instead of putting up my shield, but that's my own stupidity. That's got nothing to do with the game. That's no fault on the game. But the controls are really, really tight. One thing that I really, really like about this game is the fact that when you throw your spear, he throws it along the path of his arm. So you can throw over rocks while you're taking cover and things like that. It's a nice mechanic to have. It really is, you know. So I believe that there's typically one more upgrade I can get for my character in this level, but really the basic upgrades aren't game changers. Like they're nice to have, but they aren't like have it or die type of a situation. The only one that I really, really think is a serious game changer is probably shielded rolling. It makes it to where you can't take damage while rolling, and that's a big deal. We still have to find the artifact piece. I haven't found the artifact piece, so if we go into the hanging furnace and we don't find it here, then we'll have to go back to that last area we were just in and search for it there. Because that's the whole point I'm playing right now, is to collect those items. We need those pieces of what the fuck? These homing spears are doing the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do. You're supposed to home into the enemy, not away from the enemy, stupid. God, you're retarded. What a waste of an ability. You know you hit something if the screen shakes like that. And I know that there's a big old baddie over there. Oh shit. Another thing that was that comes to mind with this game and this situation right here that we find ourselves in is there's no falling damage. And so I would have taken the time to make sure that I made that last jump adequately if I knew that there was falling damage and if it would have ended my run. Since there wasn't falling damage, you know, I know how to get back to where I was in this fight by working my way back this way. So the fact that I fell off there wasn't really a huge hindrance to me. It was just kind of a little bit of an annoyance. And so I'm not really super worried about it. I think that was an opportunity missed to create a good amount of tension in this game. If there was falling damage, you would constantly be, like, as you're falling, trying to reach out and find some type of vine or something to grab onto, you know. And while not a huge deal, you know, it's just another thing that could make the game a little bit more difficult and a little bit add a little bit more suspense to just randomly running around the levels. So in this game there are a number of upgrades. The upgrades typically augment your abilities in one way or another. Like I said before, there's the spear upgrades that you find on every level. In the what is the name of that area? In the forest area, the area we started in. In that area, you will find you'll always find the fire spear. In the second area that we visited, the caves, within the caves you'll always find the impact spear. And actually, to fight the boss and to leave the caves area, once you get deep enough in, you have to have the impact spear. You can't leave without it. In the hanging furnace, we will find the lightning spear at some point. And lightning spear just makes your spears fly faster, as far as I can tell. And I believe your spears also penetrate enemies at that point, if you have the lightning spear. Down here, there's always one enemy, and I believe there's health down here. I don't think that there's, yeah, it's a health. Those dead corpses that you see randomly floating around, those are just full health corpses. Enemies, when you kill them, drop health. So if you are taking damage, it is smart to actually kill the creatures instead of just skipping them. But like I said, you don't have to do that at all in this game if you don't want to. You can just kind of run by. Alright, he's going to commit suicide, so we're just gonna... Oh, man. Oh, and we're not gonna get that armor. That's one of our upgrades for this area. That's one of the upgrade spots. But we're not gonna get that upgrade because I don't know if they stack. And I don't want to take the chance of losing my fire armor, which is really, really important in the area that I have a hard time with, for either light or heavy armor. Heavy armor obviously makes you slower. I believe you take less damage, although it's really hard to tell. And light armor makes you zippy and really, really quick. Okay, we're still not seeing any of our upgrades. Lightning spear is typically found up here in the next area, right on top here. So we'll have lightning spear, then we also haven't found the guy that we need to talk to or the artifact piece, so I think we're running out of options. We may have to go back and search the catacombs. Okay, so here's the lightning spear. This spider's ready for me, man. Look at him, he's excited. Got our lightning spear. However, lightning spear I do kind of feel like negates homing spears. So instead of working in tandem with it really well, I think it just flies too quickly and it doesn't have any time to home on anything. Which actually could be kind of good, considering the fact that we just saw my homing spears completely screw us just a second ago. So this is where we fell, right here. So now we're back to where we originally were. All we did was work our way around. Ah, another harbinger come to ask Mud's help. Oh, do not fool yourself. You are far from the first to visit me here in these eons. I was once powerful and moved beyond the stars, but now I am trapped in this land, powerless to stop its ever-imminent destruction. I have some little power left, though. Bring me the soul of a giant bubwillow. Oh, you already have it. I will use it to protect you from the burning of the under. Then he gives me a broken mask. Thanks, dog. Thanks for punching me in the face. Go there and stop the forgotten. Others have tried. Some have succeeded, but all others fail. Alright. So we're going to... What we're actually going to do is we're going to continue over here. We really need to find that artifact piece. I don't know where the hell that thing is. It could be up here. No. Well, up. There was an area that we were moving. It could be down right before we fight the boss in this area, which I'm guessing is actually where it is. It's not over here. It's probably in a part of the caves that we didn't like. I try not to get too deep into the caves because I get tired of running that little circuit over and over to get back up to the top. However, if we gotta do it, we gotta do it, man. We gotta do it, we gotta do it, we gotta do it. Oh, he missed his face. Got you. Got you. Oh. You're too quick for me, dude. Oh, I missed you. Oh, he almost got us there, too. Oh, man, I missed him again. I need to work on my aim. Shoot. Oh, come on. Let me throw that spear. Got you, son. As long as you stay calm, these fights really aren't that difficult. Gliding, great. This is the one that I said was completely useless. And it kind of really is. Like, it's nice. It's nice to have in the final area simply because there's lava in the final area. And if you fall into the lava, obviously you die. So it can kind of help you keep from doing that. But besides that, I don't really see much of a point. So we're going to do one more quick look over the top of this area. See if we can't find the artifact piece. I think, I don't know this for certain, but I think that typically the artifact spawns in the area where you didn't really have to go. So it could be, so according to that, we had to go to the caves because we had to get that Babuelo's soul. And we had to come here because that's where the, that's where our guide spawned. So it might actually be in the forest. There's only one area in the forest that we haven't checked out. And that area is beneath the waterfall. And we kind of need to go there anyway because we have an upgrade down there. Just hanging out, chilling for us. But we will definitely not go into the next area until we find this upgrade. Because we have to, and it's not an upgrade, I'm sorry. Until we find the artifact piece. We have to have this artifact piece, otherwise this whole run is for nothing. What's up, dog? I'm just gonna stab you in the foot. That's right, that was fun. Alright, I believe that it is going to be in the forest. So we're gonna go check it real quick. Check that forest out. Search high and low for that artifact piece. Then once we find that artifact piece, we'll be good to go. Not too bad. We're making pretty good time. We're going to get to the final area, 23 minutes in. And then when we beat the final boss in the lava area, in the Great Under, we will be able to, I believe this is the last artifact piece that we need to gather. So lucky us. After this, we might be able to actually fight the final boss. You'll see me just get destroyed because I don't know the mechanics of the final boss yet. And he looks like a mean feller. Okay, we're going to check down here. I've never seen the artifact spawn down here before, but it never hurts to check, you know. They try and sell the fact that things in this game are procedurally generated, and so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt as far as that goes. The villagers, if you let them hang out on your back, will eventually bite you and deal damage. Although they do give you about a 2-second window. Alright, so let's check the water. It's not in the water. We've already checked all of the underneath, because that's where we got the fire spear. So I know it's not down there. I'm gonna come up over here. Sometimes the artifact will be right here. I didn't see it there. That just goes back down to the down to those caves that we searched, the ones that I said we were just going to skip. So we're going to stay true to our word and skip them. And then we're gonna jump down into this waterfall down here, because this, I believe, is the only place that we haven't checked. So we did get second attack, which I believe is another useless ability. What's the difference between that and that? What is the difference here between that and that? Like, how does that help me? everything dies in 1 or 2 hits, and with the sweeping attack, it looks like I might just end up getting... I've never seen it appear up here. This is actually kind of a little hidden area. It's like a secret. I've never seen it appear there, though. Now where could it be? I really hope it's not in the caves. But it looks like it might be there. Unless it's over here to the right. This area over here to the right I've never seen utilized for anything at all. Nope, and it's still completely empty. Looks like we're going back to the caves, kids. Because I have yet to find that artifact piece, and we have to... Oh, there it is! Alright, so that confirms my suspicions that the artifact piece is always in the area. So there are three areas before you go to the Great Under. Or the Dark Under, or whatever it's called. There's an area that has an artifact piece in it. There's an area that has your guide in it. And then there's the area that has the soul from the boss in which you need to capture. In which you need to defeat. In order to have it. And then you need to go back to the guide. Give that soul to the guide. And to Mud. The guide's name is Mud. And then he makes you immune to the fire of the Great Under. If you try coming to the Under before, you will just constantly be losing life. I've done that before. I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna check out what's down here. Oh shit, I'm burning to death. Okay, so these are the most annoying creatures in the entire game. That's why fire armor is by far the best item for this area. Because fire armor deals damage to creatures when they hit you. And those little guys will hit me every time. God, armor again? Jesus, we have gotten so little upgrades this time for this run, simply because everything's been armor. I really don't want to end up blowing the whole run simply because I decided to see if fire armor and light armor work together. And then when I find out that they don't, it'll just blow everything. Just waste the whole run. What are you doing, dog? Oh my god. Okay, yeah, just hit me. I don't care. I've got full health here anyway. If you throw your spear and then you go and pick it up, it actually does just pick it up. It resets the cooldown on your spear throw, which is nice. Like I said, the combat in this game is good and tight, you know? I never feel like anything that happened is unjust, except for like with these little midget guys. Sometimes they'll like home around you and stuff. And they'll get you on the backside and stuff when they really should. When it feels like they shouldn't have. Oh yeah, I've got fire armor. I was like, I'm gonna fuck that thing up. These walls just kind of seem like a waste of time too. Like I understand you want to give the players something to do and things like that, but at the same time it does start to feel like kind of just a chore breaking through things like that. Like what's the point? It's weird. It's a weird thing when like the little creatures, like the little baby ones, are harder than the big ass ones. And that's how it is regardless if you have frozen spear or not. Like the big ass ones, they flinch every time they get hit. So really what you have to worry about is the small little guys coming in and saying hi. We're gonna come down here just to now this does put us in danger of falling down into the lava, because right below us is where the lava is. So that does pose a little bit of a threat here to our entire run. But there is an upgrade over here, and if it's higher jumping or shielded rolling, it would be worth it. Also, if we were to find some type of full health, Short spear recall time. That's okay. It's not the best, but it's all right. I'm going to kill these guys because when you kill enemies in this game, they do give you health. The bigger the enemy, the more health you get back. What's up, dog? No, you're not guarding anything over here? Well, then what the hell's the point, man? Yeah, we're just gonna have to go back the way we came. Cool. Now we'll fight the boss. If I didn't have gliding, I would not have come over here. Plain and simple. I just wouldn't have done it. Simply because it's just too big of a threat to your entire run to fall down into that lava and just ruin everything, just instantly be dead. That's the type of mechanic, like, at times it could feel cheesy. You're like, it feels like you get robbed at times. But then after that moment of frustration passes, you realize that you really shouldn't have been doing what you were doing. It's nice when in the first 5 seconds you can remove half of the threat of the final boss. Okay, so here's the hard part though. No! Okay, I've done this before where I've just ended up jumping on that thing 18 times trying to get and attack that thing, and I actually lost, and that was the last little bubble I had to kill. So we'll see what happens now. This is a big moment for us, everybody. We've got all of the pieces of the artifact, I believe. So, are you ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. All right. Moment of truth. Jump in the clam. Maybe it'll just unlock and we won't actually get to fight him this time. Let me out. Let me out, dog. Oh, we still have one more piece. We unlocked a new equipment type. Has my mouse pointer been in the middle of the screen the whole fucking time? Man, is that annoying or what? Well, guys, we just beat Oblitus. That's the game, man. If anything, there's one more boss in this game. Actually, I know there's one more boss in this game. Thank you, achievements. And then we'll see the final ending after that. But I don't know if there's much more to this game. So that's the whole game, guys. Like, take it or leave it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. You know, but now you know what you're getting into. There are a number of other abilities that we didn't get in this run, and you do unlock more as time goes on. But I wouldn't say by any stretch of the imagination that I would say it's in the ballpark of 25 different abilities altogether. So it's no mind-blowing thing, but it's things that make each run a little bit different, and they can be fun. You know, you have your runs where you can be big, take a bunch of hits, wear heavy armor, you know, or you can have your runs where you're pole vaulting all over the place, flying, you know, doing things like that. And at first, I really just liked Oblitus for what it was, you know, because I felt like I was sold a different bag of goods than I actually bought, you know. But the more I play it, you know, I'm determined to see the final boss and things like that. So that's actually pretty fun. Well, thanks again for joining me, guys. My name is Wizup. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe. If you didn't like it, I'm sorry. We'll see. You know, there's plenty of other Let's Players. And if you know somebody that would like something like this, please point them over to my channel. All right, guys, it's been fun. I'll catch you on the next one.